Hello everybody, Sean here, and we are taking a look at the third boss and lead up to in the Crystal Tower. And like the second, the third boss only has a mini boss before it, which you see before you right now, and then the third boss himself. So going into the third chamber, you're going to see the three Visago demons, and they are all linked to a bomb. Again, you have three parties, so Party A should take the left Visago, Party B the one in the back, and Party C, which I am in, took the one on the right. You will have your main tank grab the Visago, turn him so he's facing towards the lava on the outside ring, and then just proceed to tank him normally. Do not stand in front of him. The Visagos do have quite a few AoE attacks, as you can see going off, some of which are completely circular, but many of which will only hit those in front of him. Another note is that the lava can actually damage you. You can stand in it, similar to the poison earlier on in the Crystal Tower, so make sure to not stand in it for too long, or preferably at all. You can also see that the one main attack the Visagos have that you need to watch out for is that, I believe it's called Desolator, or something to that effect, but the point is it is a line AoE, it is quite long, so even if your Visago does not hit you, you have to keep an eye on the floor in case another Visago is targeting you. But as you can see right now in front of you, the main mechanic of this fight is the additional bombs that spawn. There are two types, napalms, which you can see will slowly make their way towards the center bomb. When they touch it, they explode, dealing pretty significant but not threatening amounts of damage. Or you will have a balloon spawn, another type of bomb, looks like a normal bomb. It's not dark like these ones, it's orange like the one in the center. The balloons will not go to the center. They will aggro whoever grabs them, just like a normal enemy would. However, they will also self-destruct. Now, the key to this fight is every bomb that self-destructs, whether it be a balloon, like you see right now, or whether it be a napalm who will slowly walk towards the center. If any bomb self-destructs, that feeds the center one. And if the center one gets too large, it will self-destruct itself, guaranteeing a wipe for the entire raid. The exact number of self-destructs that it takes to feed the center one, I do not know, but it is quite a few. You're looking at probably 10 plus. And you can see right now that the one in the center is growing, but he is not at a significant size. It will be very obvious to you if you've had too many self-destructs, it'll be very clear. You can see right now he's only just a little bit bigger than the ones crashing into him. Unfortunately, our DPS on this run in the other groups wasn't really playing along with the role of the group. They let quite a few bombs blow up, but even with the amount, now you can see another one that we just ignored because at this point it didn't matter. What's that called? Desolation. I was close. Not Desolator. Desolation. But even with the amount that have exploded for us, you can see our bomb is getting quite large. But even that isn't the full size of it. I would say he would grow probably about 20% larger than that, and that is when you will be guaranteed a insta wipe. You can see the central bomb himself will become attackable once all three Visagos are down, but again, when it comes to priorities in this fight, it is napalms first, then the balloons, and then the Visagos. So napalms first, which are the dark ones, then the balloons, which are the normal colored bombs, and then the Visagos. You do want to try to limit the amount of self-destructs going on. The napalms only self-destruct when they reach the center. Balloons will self-destruct when their HP is low, so if you want to prevent that, you do need to stun them. Alright, so after the Visagos, you're going to come in, and you see me stop for a minute here, unfortunately, but you're going to come in and go up the stairs, and you'll see the big old Behemoth, the big bad guy. You may have fought him before out in Coerthis as part of a large fate. However, this is actually the King Behemoth, and the mechanic behind this fight is that there's quite a few mechanics going on at the same time. So firstly, you're going to see 4 towers around the outside ring. You want to have a tank at each tower. You can see perfectly right now we have 1 tank at each tower. The reason for this is that the tanks aren't really necessary during this fight. You only need 1 main tank for Behemoth, 1 off tank for an Iron Giant that's going to spawn, and that is it. So you have 4 tanks sitting around not really doing anything. I mean, obviously they can contribute additional damage, but a tank's damage isn't really going to be significant enough. So what we do is you have 1 tank at each tower. During the fight, these towers are not going to be active all the time, but when they do become active, they apply a buff to the floor. So right now you can see the floor is electrified. It's going to do minor damage around 120 to 150 every 3 or 4 seconds. If one of the towers turns on, it buffs the floor, making it deal more damage. So what the tank does, they stay by the tower, turn it off every time it turns on. You can see right now the one in front of me, actually right behind that Iron Giant, had turned on. It is now off. And you have to just repeat that process, so the tank should stand there at all times. When you engage the fight, about 5 seconds later, this big guy will spawn. You need to have your off-tank grab him, pull him to the outside of the arena, preferably far away from Behemoth. You can see at this point we're about at 90 degrees with Behemoth. Face him outwards like you would most bosses, or even mini-bosses, and then DPS this guy down really quick. And I'll explain more about him in a moment. But when it comes to priorities in this fight, it's that Iron Giant first, Bomb second, Behemoth last. So again, that's Iron Giant first, Bomb second, Behemoth last. And the reason for this is now perfectly obvious. There's a comet on the screen. It has landed, and what the comet does is very similar to what you would see in a Garuda fight. When Behemoth reaches about 70 to 75% health, he's going to summon a meteor. He will do this again around 40% and then again around 10%. When he summons the meteor, you have to... Oh, here we go. Perfect. Raw, ecliptic meteor. When he summons the meteor, you have to break line of sight with him using the comet. So you can see we all got behind the comet. We're going to stand here. Here comes the meteor, crashes down, and comets disappear. You take no damage. Now that green thing you see above a player's head, that indicates that another comet is going to fall where that player is. So you can see them running off to stand in a location where the comet will be best used. So you can see generally that's going to be behind Behemoth, probably about a full Behemoth's length. So about halfway back through the arena you want to drop the comets. Now you'll notice the comets have a health bar. This ties in to the Iron Giant, and this is why the Iron Giant is the primary target of these battles. The Iron Giant has massive cleave attacks. Anything in front of him is going to get cleaved. That's why it's extremely important the off-tank grabs him immediately and gets him to the outside ring of the battle arena. You do not want him cleaving the comets. He also has a couple of really fast laser attacks. I believe Magitech Laser is what's called, where he will target a nearby comet with Magitech Laser. So the further away you can get him from the comets, the better, because that decreases the chance he will target Magitech Laser at one. So again, when he spawns, he's going to spawn at the very beginning of the battle, and then once after every meteor, and every time he spawns, you need to off-tank needs to grab him immediately, pull him away from Behemoth, pull him away from the comets, tank him. All the DPS should switch to him and get him killed. After he is killed, you can have a couple DPS switched back to Behemoth, as you see me doing right now. And then also you want some DPS, always keep an eye on bombs. But again, the bombs are second priority. So if you're on Behemoth and you see a bomb getting close to a tower, make sure you definitely go kill him. Throughout the fight, you'll see we still have 4 tanks that are remaining at the 4 outside towers, because it doesn't matter what point in the battle this is, you have to stay there to make sure you shut the towers off. The comets can take a few hits, but you can see it's very important that they do not die. If you lose all the comets, again, it's very similar to the Garuda fight. If you lose all the comets, you will guarantee a wipe. There is no way to kill Behemoth and survive the ecliptic meteor if there are no comets. So when a comet falls, make sure it's behind Behemoth somewhere. Make sure that you have a couple of them alive, preferably, but you only need one, but preferably a couple are alive, and that the Iron Giant is nowhere near them. That is the key part. Success of this hinges on whether or not the Iron Giant is killing all the comets. So get that Iron Giant away from the comets the moment he spawns after every meteor. Behemoth himself is just your standard Behemoth. The main tank should be able to tank him just fine, keep him facing the outside of the arena. After the first meteor, he gains a Charybdis tornado attack. An AoE circle will appear on the ground somewhere. It can target anyone. You can see one right to his right-hand side right now. So you see the AoE circle, and then boom, the Charybdis hits. That is the only AoE you really need to be concerned about. It hits extremely hard, enough to probably two-shot you if you stand in it. So make sure you get out of that. Other than that, the Behemoth himself will not be a threat to the rest of the group. Only the main tank is going to be receiving any damage from him. But that is it. I thank you for watching. I hope this helps. The Behemoth fight is the hardest one, so if you could get past this, you've basically beat Crystal Tower. I thank you for watching, and we'll see everyone next time.